This is Total Babble. Total Babble. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Babble. The Total Babble Podcast.
Well, whatever you want to do. Whatever your kink is. Or
I don't even have one. I'm so boring.
I know you say you're a prude, but then little things come out in the background that we didn't know about, and I think, oh, she's pretty normal.
I mean, I think I am pretty normal.
You say you're abnormal with the prude. I find you very normal sometimes when we get little glimpses.
It's kind of funny. Me really in my life, in terms of how I live my life, I'm very prudish. However, when it comes to jokes, I will say absolutely outrageous things for the giggles.
So you're a closet kink.
No, not that either.
You're a closet joke kink.
I think it's the opposite. I think I'm a closet prude.
Closet prude. You portray yourself as being out there and wild and going with it, when in your private life, you're very subdued.
Exactly. I am like a child. I can't watch like kissing and sex scenes on TV. I cover up my eyes or hide under a blanket.
I think these are issues you should explore, perhaps some therapy.
But why is it an issue?
Because maybe there's a whole openness that you could have as a person, and it would make you better and progress more in life if you explored these issues. And I'm completely full of shit and just making that up, but it's what I got.
I think that Americans are too open and too into that. In the same way that I think that gun culture is gratuitous, I think that the consumption of pornography and the over-sexualization of content and everything is something that's almost uniquely American. And I
agree.
think that some things should be private.
But just last week, we had a show where we talked about Americans being so hung up on sex, and they had this big thing around it, and that's why people were closeted gays and not really being forthcoming with their feelings. So can it be both ways? Nay, I say unto thee.
I think it can. I think that the reason that it comes out in those ways is because of the repression. It creates this public and private persona thing where people are really, like, they really pretend to be something that they're not.
Like Lindsey Graham.
Isn't he a massive fruit?
He's the rumor is that he's the gayest man alive, but doesn't have the ability to deal with it.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, it doesn't make me sad because he's a fucker. If he was a normal person, I would be sad, but he's a complete fucker, so I don't feel sad for him at all.
And I wonder how much of his being a fucker is driven by his own self-loathing and rage.
A lot of people say he has a crush on Donald Trump, and that's part of what drives his insatiable need to be an asshole and coddle him and cuck him anytime he can. This is the theory.
He's such a cockhead.
Stu and Emily show happening now. Hope everyone is well. This week, I'll start it out. We always talk about our stuff. I was on a podcast this week. I was a podcast guest.
Why didn't you tell me? Can I go and listen to it?
You can watch it. It's in that same Facebook group that I think I found you. They do meetings of podcast editors that talk about stuff, and it's pretty boring stuff to anybody else, but I kind of made it fun. And being a podcast guest is so easy. Jesus Christ, you should be paying me. And that's what I felt. And I felt like I should be paying them. It was so easy. I had to restrain myself and try not to talk. And I was just like, okay, I'm easing back and letting that guy do all the stuff. And at no point did anybody yell, fuck Trump. And I was just sitting there going, does somebody want to yell, fuck Trump? Because we're on a podcast right now. And that never happened. And it was kind of inside radio stuff, but it was kind of fun. And I will never watch it because it was video. And I don't like myself on video. When we do our thing, I hide my screen. And I never need to look at me. I think it was you maybe that came up with the concept of professional podcast guest. Mm-hmm. And you're not really a guest. You're more of a host on this, so you don't qualify anymore. So I guess you wouldn't pay me. But
I would hope that I'm more of a co-host.
Yeah, you absolutely are.
But sometimes I do feel like I'm the straight man. in your comedy routine.
And which is weird because you're the first co-host I've had that I feel like I am the straight man a lot of times. So at least take that. Like usually it's always been that way, and she just came up with that. Okay, I'm stepping back. I'm going to be the Bud Abbott in this relationship. That's, about Abbott and Costello.
I do indeed.
I'll be the Bud Abbott. So there was that, and he did it on Riverside, and they had that thing on in the background that raises the volume up and down on its own, and it was making me insane, but I held back. I didn't say anything. And I said,
I'm
hey,
so proud.
Riverside probably enabled that setting on you without you noticing, but I'm not going to say anything. It's not my place.
It's not my show.
I was restrained and proud of myself for being restrained.
Well, I'm proud of you for being restrained, and I'm also glad that you were able to go out and share your expertise with the podcasting community, because you have a lot of experiences. As we talk about on the show all the time, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, anyone with an asshole's now got a podcast.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it for so many years. I mean, not everyone gets more than 500 episodes, and we're up to many more than that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. But there were people in there that were much more expert on it than me, at least as far as the business part of it. And I said, if I restarted doing this 10 years ago, I would absolutely market myself more, because they do it as more of a business. And I've done little side projects here and there, but I need to get something together and be like, okay, here's my page. Here's all the stuff I've done. And those people are much better at that. But it was interesting and fun. And if you look for it, you can see me just probably looking terrible on video at some point. They haven't released it yet, but whatever.
Well, I look forward to it, and they are lucky to have you on their show.
Well, thank you. Other than being such a prude, you're so nice to have around.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I aim to not be a burden.
You're a delight. What happened in your life this week? Do you have stuff to tell?
It was just a delightfully regular week, which of course means that we had lots of drama. I absolutely lost my shit at my kids 2 nights ago. And now I don't often get cross at my kids. We have a great relationship. And this is a, what would you do, Stu? And am I a bad parent? Give me the feedback. So it was 9 o'clock at night.
No, you're not a bad parent.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure.
So it was 9 o'clock at night, and I've asked the boys, we have a routine where I say, okay, in 5 minutes, it's time to start the transition. It's summer, so they can stay up late, but I need you to move upstairs. It's time to brush your teeth and get into your beds. You can read if you want, but it's going to be bedtime at 10. Fast forward, 10 o'clock comes around, and I've reminded them many times. And I remind them again, and I go and I close the door between the rooms because they're just fucking around, just generally being little boys. About 10:30 comes around, and they are laughing and just being idiots. And then all of a sudden, I hear a door slam, and a child starts screaming.
That was somebody's finger, maybe.
You don't know how close you are.
Yeah.
And so, of course, by this time, I'm already fucking annoyed.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, great. Now someone's injured badly. It's one of those screams. There's a difference between the screams. I get down there. The little one is on the ground, holding onto his toe. You may remember the little one from his hits, such as Johnny and the Christmas Lights. Okay, so that one, gripping his foot, rocking back and forth, and just tears. So I have a look at it. This thing is already deformed and purple. The toe next to his pinky. And we have a swim meet the next day, and he was finally going to be able to go back and swim. I had zero sympathy in that moment. I just said, well, I told you this was going to happen. Yeah. Get up and go into my room now, because I have to put him in a different room, and you can sleep next to me tonight. okay? Because Robert, the drug runner, is somewhere in Central or South. There's some moving poppy seeds, okay? And so then the big one is like, oh, I didn't mean to. I slammed the door and he was following me and I didn't know he was there. I was like, all right.
The bigger one is considering the political ramifications. He's thinking the smaller one's going to sleep with mom and he's going to badmouth me now that he's in the bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so already he is laying down the this was an accident line of public relations. Anyway, I screamed at both of them, like literally full lungs. What the fuck are the two of you doing? I have now asked you 5 times. It's been nearly 2 hours. I told you that something like this would happen. I said, if people are tired and you're being silly, somebody is going to get hurt. And meanwhile, neither one of these motherfuckers has brushed their teeth yet. So then, fuck the kid who's injured. I'm all about make sure those teeth are brushed. So then the big one, I'm like, right, you get in the bathroom, brush and floss, and I'll come and deal with you later. And then I have to go deal with the little one. I made him brush and floss his teeth too. His foot's probably broken, but I was so mad.
Did you make him do it with the foot? Because that would have been more of a thing. You're like an ape. Brush your teeth with your foot. Your injured foot. This is your punishment.
This is your punishment.
Next time you'll know.
No. I was just so mad. And then I felt bad about it. And so I sat down with the little one and I was trying to explain to him why I was so mad, but I was still screaming at him.
Right.
I'm like, I love you so much and I don't want you to be injured. And if your toe is broken, it will ruin your entire summer. You can't do anything because you'll be crippled. And I'm watching this whole thing flash before my eyes and you're crying and I can't magically fix a broken toe. So I was like, all right, we're 2 days hence now. Okay, so I elevated it, I iced it, I gave him ibuprofen, I hugged him until he stopped crying because he was just so sad and it just hurt so much. And we're 2 days hence. He still can't really walk on it.
Yeah.
But I haven't taken him for an x-ray yet because I'm just hoping that it's jammed. But I'm still mad about it. Am I a bad parent?
Yeah, I would be too, because you feel like you say things over and over that are real good things and that these goddamn kids don't listen, and then something happens and you want to point your finger and go, see, this is why I'm telling you this. This is why I'm the parent. It's part of your job as a parent is to do that.
It really is.
Yeah.
My dad has a great saying, and I repeat this to people so much in so many different contexts, both personal and professional, and it is that lessons are learned, they're not taught. And so I think the lesson was learnt because I said to the little one, what have we learnt from this evening's shenanigans? And he said, I need to go to bed when you tell me to. And I was like, that is exactly right. Correct.
That's step one. I, as a parent, would think, okay, overall, you need to listen to me. And that would be the next follow-up. But you were absolutely in the right there, obviously. You're looking out for your kids, and you have these things in place. And part of it, as has been demonstrated, is for safety. God damn it.
It's for safety, God damn it.
Yep.
Not because I want you to respect my authority.
Right.
Which also, sometimes it would be nice. But we made a deliberate parenting decision. We made a deliberate parenting decision that it is okay for our children to ask us why. And we will never say to our children, because I said so. We always wanted them to understand the rationale behind things. And so our kids can do that freely. Now, 99% of the time, they'll go, huh, okay, they'll understand and then they'll go and do it.
Yeah.
But we're trying to build that muscle in them. And one of the reasons is one of the number one predictors of the type of child that becomes a victim of grooming and sexual abuse is a child that has been raised in one of those uber strict religious type households where you just have to obey authority figures and because I said so.
You have no room to question authority.
You have no room to question it.
No, that's absolutely the best thing to do. You've done the correct thing there, and you're going to really regret it when they're teenagers. There's no way around that. Like, you've done the right
100%.
thing, but when they are teenagers, it's going to be the worst for you because they're going to question everything and then they're going to go, okay, you're wrong. That's my assessment anyway.
And it is starting to happen. And I just have to tell myself that I'm building the leaders of tomorrow. And so I'm like, I'm going to put in the hard yards here for the betterment of society. And I am not going to throw this frying pan at you, you cheeky little fucker.
We will have this country's first Australian president. That's what we're striving for here in 20, 30, 40 years. Something.
The one most likely
Yeah.
who would make the best presidential candidate was born in this country.
Yeah. There you go. Well,
Eligible for...
and for now anyway, until they, come after them all.
Well, yeah, for now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm super pissed at Claire Danes this week.
Why wouldn't you be super pissed at Claire Danes this week?
Claire Danes. I like her.
Does she not have another amazing show coming up? Are we...
Fucking goddamn it. Have you ever watched Homeland?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's great.
A week or so ago, I started watching Homeland, and it's a great show, and I'm enjoying it. And I never watched it because I thought it was going to be more like a CIS kind of show, and it's not that. And I've always liked her. Didn't really get into her shows. I'm not 14-year-old girl enough to be into her shows. My so-called life, that was not something I could be a part of. But I was like, okay, this Homeland show is supposed to be great, and it is great. And I watched about 2 seasons, and I'm like, this is really going well. And then up in my feed comes this Amy Poehler podcast with Claire Danes. I'm like, I'll watch that. That could be good and give me some perspective. Claire Danes goes on there and gives away the most major plot point of the entire series. And I get the show's been on for a while, but I've not seen the whole thing. So now I know this massive thing of a certain character that is going to happen and how it's going to resolve itself. And all I'm doing the entire series is just watching for this to happen. And it's like, that's going to happen. This pisses me off. And do you hear this, listeners? Do you hear how I am showing you much more respect than Claire Danes showed me? I'm looking out for you. I'm not giving away what it is. I think she's a tremendous actress, seems like a good person, but God damn it, Claire Danes.
She may have considered a spoiler alert warning before blurting it out.
That's right. Amy Poehler even yelled spoiler alert, and you don't yell the spoiler alert after it happens. That doesn't work out. Yeah,
that feels wrong.
Yeah, and I'm not usually that person that is just so, don't tell me what's going to happen. Don't do that. I'm not that person. I'm like, whatever. But this was such a major thing that's like, okay. That character I wasn't really all that into to begin with, but now I'm just trying to guess and judge where it's going to go. And
you're trying to look for clues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything where I could have seen this coming? Yeah, that's a real bummer.
Yeah.
Quick check, though. And I don't know this, but didn't that show come out 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I said it's been a while, and I will give them that. But still, there are people in the world like me that are not 14-year-old girls that didn't watch my so-called life, that didn't see it.
100%. I've never seen that. My so-called life. Didn't even know it's a show. Couldn't pick up the poster.
That's where she came to be. She came to be Claire Danes and all that. I think Leonardo...
Is that before Romeo and Juliet? That's what I know her from.
Yeah, she was in that with Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay.
Did you say Leonardo DiCaprio?
I did. I stole that from some comedian that I don't remember which, but some comedian refers to him as Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's all I can do now.
Oh, DiCaprio, not DiCapricorn. Because I was going full horoscope on this
apricot,
bitch.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fun if you play with it in your brain.
That is cute. Okay.
Spencer Pratt, the reality loser Spencer Pratt.
I had to look up this cunt. Like,
he's just a dick.
I saw his name and I was like, I don't know who this is. And so you sent over the show outline, and ordinarily I like to be surprised by what we're going to talk about. So I saw the outline and then I was like, this guy, I've never heard of this guy before. And so I looked him up and went, this guy shouldn't even be famous.
Right. He's one of those people that is nothing, and he has no qualifications to do anything, let alone be mayor of LA. And he's
the unsalted butter of the butter.
Yeah. And he lost his bid to become mayor. And I don't know if you've seen the headlines. How do you think the Trump dickheads are handling that? Because he was kind of on the Republican side.
I'm sure they're all devastated.
They're calling election fraud. This is another example of election fraud because some loser dickhead reality TV star is not getting to be mayor of Los Angeles. They questioned why it took so long. They said, all this counting votes for 4 or 5 days. Why is it taking so long? We have another story that's going to reference that in a second. We count each individual ballot in California, and it goes slow, and they talk about that. And they say, oh, this is fixed. This is absolutely fixed. They have unendingly questioned why this is taking so long, and it's taking so long because of accuracy. Fuck them. So if there were bullshittery happening, wouldn't it happen quicker if we're going to screw around and just say this person won? It, in my mind, would happen quicker. And wouldn't both nominees for our governorship be Democratic? We, going into the governor's race, have a Democrat and a Republican because of the way that whole process works. We could have done 2 Democrats. So if there was going to be bullshit, wouldn't those 2 things happen? Just thinking with thoughts, you know.
Just Thinking with Thoughts is the name of today's show.
Yeah.
Again, I'm zigging when we're zagging here, right? But at which point do we determine that it's fuckery? Like, there's a lot of focus on the process after the ballots have been cast, but we know that there is so much fuckery going into what happens before. Attempts at gerrymandering, paying people to vote, bussing people in, spending literally scores of millions of dollars to
influence things. And that's why
things.
The process is so slow, because everything's being verified.
And I feel like there's less fuckery happening afterwards. There's more protocols, more witnesses, more of an audit trail. I feel like they're making us focus on one area so that we stop focusing on the other area. And nobody in their right mind would ever think that this guy was going to win it. He doesn't come from a background in politics. Although I will say, I read some of his policies and I thought they were okay. I will say that.
Okay,
even though he's a
is
Republican.
fine. He's still a fuckwit that doesn't
100%.
have the smarts to run a convenience store, let alone be mayor of LA. And
10 out of 10, agree.
this came up along the way when they do the counting. They, at the end of the day, will release the totals, and he was ahead for a little while, and then they counted more votes. And at the end of the day, he was behind by 40,000 votes. So the dumb shit MAGA conspiracy assholes then decided, well, how is it that he lost 40,000 votes and didn't get 1 vote? They just decided that along the way, he didn't get any votes and was behind by 40,000 votes and didn't get any. Nobody said he didn't get any votes. They just determined this in their head and then started all the bullshit conspiracy crap. And it's just so amazing that these people are stupid. And I put my policy thing on public in Facebook and had arguments with a couple of them this week. And I just need to go back to my friends only because there's just no winning with those people. And it's just so frustrating. They're just so beyond fucking goddamn dumb. I can't do it anymore.
Yes.
It's not good for me.
No, it's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. And one of the prevailing indicators of low IQ is the inability to change one's position in the face of new information.
Yeah.
And once you determine that somebody can't do that, there is no point in arguing with them. I think that if you're going online or anywhere and engaging in a conversation with somebody who didn't ask to be engaged with and who isn't interested in having their mind changed and who doesn't have the capacity to have their mind changed, bamboozling them with facts and clear arguments is not going to do anything. All you end up doing is essentially punching yourself in the face and diminishing your own capacity, like you're smashing your head against a brick wall.
I have always said that, okay, dumb I can try to empathize with and be reasonable with and try to work with somebody on dumb. When somebody is dumb and arrogant, it's just impossible because they are so set in their dumb ways and they know what's right and they're not going to hear anything different and you just can't do anything with these people. I just want to take them and put them on a fucking island somewhere and just the rest of us normal people can live our normal lives.
Okay, so fun fact.
Yeah. Is there an island I don't know about we could put them?
Well, they're trying to do that themselves.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear about the latest foray of baby girl Trump and Kushner? They're trying to create
thing in Albania?
Yeah, they're trying to create a private island in Albania for their ilk.
I sent you a thing of people protesting in Albania. I don't know if you've seen it yet. And their streets are filled with like every goddamn citizen protesting us. And I'm like, yeah, you go Albania. That's the way protests should go here. But many of us are too lazy. So
out of the White House this week. UFC for diplomacy. That's something that I'm surprised about. Have you heard about this while we're talking about Lord Emperor Trump and politics?
I have a Trump clip coming up, but not regarding that. What's the thing?
So as you know, we, the people, are spending $60 million on the installation of a UFC octagon fighting ringamajig that lives on the White House lawn.
Yeah, but we can't feed people, but sure.
Trump has what we thought joked about never taking down the structure. However, they are signing a memorandum that is expected to be signed on Thursday, and I'm not going to articulate what it's called because, quite frankly, I can't fucking remember.
I'm sure it's wordy.
But the nuts and bolts of it are utilizing that UFC ring for diplomacy. So hosting matches for guests, but also pitting our US fighters against fighters from other countries. Let me file this under shit that doesn't seem important for $200, Stu. But this is what our government is spending our money and focusing our time on, turning the reflection pool into some gaudy Florida hot springs, a UFC ring. This is a circus.
He's making America the trailer park of the world is what he's doing. Ooh, look at this shit we got on our lawn. Ooh, that's what he's doing. And ooh, look at my ballroom. There's gold everywhere. Look at all the gold. I've so had it with all this fucking bullshit. I say that every week, I know, but I really have had it.
I think they've put the kibosh on the ballroom. I think there will be no ballroom.
What's the latest on that you heard?
So my understanding is that even though we're saying that the people aren't paying for this ballroom, there's a paper trail that shows that all of the major donors received government contracts in excess of the amount of money that they're donating, or they've received tax breaks, or, you know, definitely the making of a quid quo pro.
Well, it's good that he wrecked it already, so we have a big fucking pile of rubble on the thing that is most symbolic of our country, perhaps.
Yeah.
He ought to just put a goddamn Camaro on blocks in the front lawn. That would make it really like he wants it to be.
That would make it. I mean, the Rose Garden now looks like the patio at the Olive Garden.
Yeah, it's gross.
Gross.
So Trump, we believe, was referring directly to Spencer Pratt in this next clip. He was on Meet the Press. This was the big famous clip of the week where he walked off. And just for like the two people that haven't heard it, we'll play it right here.
The war in Iran was front and center on today's edition of Meet the Press as moderator Kristen Welker sat down exclusively with President Donald Trump. But as the interview went on, the president walked out when Welker challenged him about his claims about fixed elections.
The election was rigged. It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening
the
right now in California.
Rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening in California.
To that?
It's
the
4 days.
Republicans are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with.
That's how they count.
You know
the
why
votes
they're doing
in
that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
I have to do is look.
That's the biggest thing with any of these fucking dickheads. Give me some evidence. We've gone through 8 goddamn years of give me some evidence, and there's never anything.
Well, in fact, there is. And the evidence that has been produced is that the forgery and fuckery is on their side, but then it just disappears.
Right. Yeah, you're right. As I said that, it's like, oh, wait, yeah, they had more votes for Biden in that one recount. Good that you researched that, dickheads. Ugh.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
Go ahead.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted.
How does slow equate to crooked? We just kind of had this conversation, but are they moving pieces around so slowly, and that's why it takes extra time? It's not the accuracy that takes the extra time?
I don't know, but little throwaway lines like that have me going, okay, well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. This ballroom's taking much longer than anticipated. Does that mean it's crooked?
And then all this
it's ridiculous.
redistricting bullshit. It's like, okay, it's not okay here. And then they did this in Virginia and they're redrawing maps. And any little fucking thing they can do to cheat, they're absolutely doing. And it's just frustrating because if it benefits them, it's okay. But if it doesn't benefit them, then it's crooked and wrong. And it's like, be consistent at least.
Local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well,
continue.
you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know. I
I've sat in the
traveled all
rain
the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin for the.
And then he stood up and stepped on the mic and killed it and stormed off the set. I was really watching that, hoping he was going to have like an embolism or something at that point, but he didn't. He lived.
Yeah, you can see him just spiraling
Yeah.
and then going to personal attacks, which is a tactic because he can't actually refute things with facts.
She asked him for facts, and all I have to do is look. Well, okay, then go ahead and look and come back to us with something solid, not just, oh, you're going to make a bunch of false claims about the people that make the voting machines, and they're going to sue your ass in 4 years for hundreds of millions of dollars because you've defamed them. That doesn't work anymore. So what are you going to do, fuckhead? Oh, God damn it. It's frustrating.
What are you
And he was
going?
so forward in his chair. You could tell if you look at the body language, he was so thinking of and wanting to hit her. And you can watch that again. When he gets up, she jumps back a little bit because she doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do. And if that happened, I think she would have kicked his ass. And I would have loved to have seen that.
Oh, same. It would have been amazing. But it's interesting. So any, I don't know, armchair psychologist that would view that would identify his behavior not only in this interview, but also in all of these times when he is challenged in any way. His behavior is like textbook narcissist or abuser behavior. And have you ever heard of the acronym DARVO?
No.
So DARVO, which is DARVO, it stands for deny, attack, reverse victim and offender, right? It's a manipulating, gaslighting technique,
That's classic him.
right? It's classic him.
Yeah.
And it is used by wrongdoers, and I think I'll classify him as a wrongdoer, to deflect blame and avoid accountability when they are confronted with their behavior. So in that particular instance, she was holding him accountable, saying, well, you haven't had proof, or saying to him, well, in fairness, I'm not crooked, and pushing back on him, right? And so what we saw in terms of the pattern is it started with the deny, right? So he flat out denies that anything ever happened. Then he starts to personally attack, when that fails, personally attacking the person. And then not only the person, but all of the press, you know, questioning their credibility, their sanity, or their motives, right? You're all crooked. You're all crooked. I can't, blah, 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 blah. And then he reverses to put himself in the position of victim. Oh, I've had enough. I've had enough.
Because he has nowhere else to go. When he does this, do you think that it is calculated and he's going, okay, now I'm moving to the R in Darvo? And do you think he has that, or it's just that he's done it so long that it's instinct and he just jumps to the next thing? And do you think he was originally taught this, or did he just take this on by need?
No, I think it's just how he is. And people keep behaving in a way that works for them. The other thing is around manipulators and false prophets and all these types of things. There's these patterns around how to manipulate people and how to coerce people, how to guilt them into following you. It's just manipulation of everyone who listens to him, manipulating the situations. He's a bully.
Yeah.
And the reason he behaves in this way is because it has worked for him his entire life.
Yeah, because I don't think he has the mental capacity to step by step this and, okay, now that didn't work, I'm moving on to the next thing. I don't think he can do that at this point in his life. He's so effed up. I think this is just how he's always operated, and it's the way that he knows to do things, and it's starting not to work. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing, where he has to storm off talk shows because he can't do it anymore and can't come up with anything to back him up. And, oh, by the way, the press is at least 20% at fault in this because they've let him get away with his shit for so many years and they don't push him on stuff. And if they questioned him more, he would get away with much less shit.
He might get away with less shit, but I think that he has these techniques down. Like, think about everything that he does and how Darvo, like, applies to everything he does. Like, let's talk about the Access Hollywood tapes. Grab him by the pussy. He flatly denies that those documented events ever occurred. When questioned, he just says, that's not me. That's not me. Even though it very clearly is. So denial. He intensely attacks the credibility of anyone. Any journalist who reports on something that's true that he doesn't like, fake news, crooked, wackos. And then he's always talking about that everyone's on a witch hunt against him. The most unfairly treated politician ever in history.
Yeah, like I can't count the amount of times I've heard him use the term witch hunt. And every time he does it, I in my mind say, okay, witch hunt, let's try that out. Let's see if you float.
Exactly. There's another thing that's like whataboutisms, right? Where he tries to create this moral equivalency. So if anybody like tries to question him about his family, he'll be like, what about the Bidens?
Yeah.
What about Hunter Biden?
The whole party does that. Oh, what about Obama?
What about Hillary's emails?
Obama's
Crooked
not
Hillary.
president right now, you fucking dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Swearing too much again.
And the other one is just, and I think this is probably the most damaging, is hyper repetition, or this fire hose of falsehoods, right? Where it's a propaganda technique, actually. And he may not be doing it on purpose because I think that he believes some of this shit is all mixed up in his head, but it's just a high volume of absolute garbage, untruthful statements. And it creates this thing called an illusory truth effect. Whereas if you hear something enough, you start to believe it, which is fucking crazy. And I think that that's how we found ourselves in this situation where so many otherwise normal and well-meaning people believe the garbage that they hear because he just says it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then just tries to destroy the credibility of anybody else who says it's differently. Like if he came out and said, the sky isn't blue, if he said it enough, people would start to repeat it.
Yep.
And believe it.
And that's worked up until now. And all of his sycophants that have followed him and been a part of his cult all these years have gone for it. But it's starting to not work now. And that's where he gets backed into a corner and storms off TV shows.
Gosh, I hope he would like just storm over to the stairs and just take a little tumble.
You're saying it would be fine if he had an accident. You're not advocating violence towards him. I just want to clarify.
I think the accident is happening in real time. I think he's very unwell. He is not mentally sound. He's an old man.
He's an old, evil man trying to destroy the world is the way I look at him. It's Grandpa Simpson if he was the devil.
Yeah, I think we've lost all sense of direction. We're seeing people cross the aisle to try and get them to enact 25. It's happening. Like, people are trying, of his own party, are trying to get him removed. It's very slow,
Amendment 25 you're talking about.
Amendment 25, yes, sorry.
The rumor is that from the top down, this person is going to that person is going to the next person down, and it's going around that, okay, you're going to support us in this if we go to do it, right? Because they all have to be united. Otherwise, the MAGA kooks are going to really go after them. And if they do it, they have to do it in a big way. And they need to do it before the midterms because they're going to get fucking hammered.
Exactly.
And they know it.
Here's something, and I'm sure that people know this, but I didn't know this until I went and voted recently. When you go to the polling booths, I don't know if it's the same in California, but when you go to the polling booths here, if you ask for a sample ballot, the sample ballots are color-coded. One color for Democratic, one different color for Republican, and another color for independent. And so voting is supposed to be anonymous.
Yeah, that's not good.
But in the state of, you are given a colored ballot. And so when my husband and I were there, I did all of my research beforehand. I filled out my sample ballot and I printed it because it was like War and Peace, and I had it printed in my purse just on white paper. But he asked for a sample ballot. And he was standing there with this ballot paper, and they're in bright colors. One's red, one's yellow, and I think one was blue or green. And at one point he said, I feel like standing here with this in my hand that I could get shot.
Yeah, you're in the spotlight as to what you are. And by the way, I'm going to bleep the state that you mentioned there because you want to remain an anonymous woman of the internet.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And so in the state that we're in, they color code them. So that was really surprising to me. And also I discovered the questions on the ballot are different. You don't all vote on the same thing. So for example,
depending on what it is, yeah, that does happen here.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was true either. So one of our neighbors said to me, what did you vote on regarding phones in schools? And my friend and I, who was sitting next to each other, we were like, well, a law's already been passed on that. That question wasn't on our ballot. And she's like, well, the question was on my ballot. And we're like, well, you voted Republican? And she's like, yeah. I said, well, we voted Democrat. Ours was different. We had different questions. And it was only in that moment that I realized that there were also different questions.
Yeah. We both live in the same society. We ought to be voting on the same things.
Right?
Just a thought. Yeah.
Right?
This could all be so much simpler. We have the technology to make it safe and accurate and true. And if it affects your life, we should all be voting on it. We should all be voting on our president, and it shouldn't be any of this electoral college bullshit. It should be the majority of the vote, and individual state stuff. Everybody in the state should be voting on it. And I don't know, that just sounds like democracy to me.
Right? I just think for people, I know we have some international listeners, but as somebody who grew up in another country, I was absolutely gobsmacked. Like in my home country, there's one ballot and everyone is on the ballot and you all vote on the same thing. If there's a referendum, for example, to vote to legalize same-sex marriage, which we had, everyone gets the same ballot, everyone gets the same wording of the question, everyone gets an equal vote, and it is mandatory if you're a citizen to vote. Every citizen must vote, and if you don't vote, you get a fine.
Well, you know what, Emily? If you don't like it, why don't you just go back there? I hear that so often. Why don't you just leave the country if you don't like it? I hear it constantly.
I hear it constantly too.
To which I say, man, I would like to. I am not joking. I sent you that thing on Albania, and that was one of the places I was considering moving because immigration there is super easy. You just go and you can stay up to a year. And then if you want to stay another year, you leave the country for a day and you come back the next day. And they're very forward in their thinking. It's almost like a very nice European kind of place. So
You can join the Trumps on their island.
now we'll be in the streets keeping those fuckers back. You're not building anything here in our nice land. We're Albania.
We're Albania. And to that, though, the people who say, if you don't like it, why don't you just leave? There's two, you and I talk about this a lot, right? It's easy for people to just discount me because I was born in another country, but I'm a citizen and I love it here. And I feel like it's incumbent upon us to put the work in to make a change. You know, if somebody was setting your house on fire, you're going to get out the hoses at the very least and try and stop them from doing that. You don't just go, oh, well, this is fucked. Let me just walk out of here with my photos tucked under my arm and my pets and family, and off we go to find another house.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
And this country was not founded on love it or leave it. This country was founded on fighting for what's right and what is true. And that's how we got to a country that was great up until about 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I still do love this country.
I don't.
Despite all of the fuckery.
I don't love this country. I think it's terrible and horrible currently. But I think we can get back to a place where we can all love it. That's the best I can do.
I would like that. I would like that very much.
Well, then, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Moving on to this thing. Some questions don't have to be hard. They don't have hard answers. They're simple questions that when you ask them, you pretty much have an immediate knowing response. Like I'll ask you this question. Emily, have you killed people?
No.
No, you have not. So if I said, how many people have you killed? You would say
0.
Right. Me too. Well, here's Victor Marx. Victor is the MAGA GOP candidate that's running to be governor of Colorado. This is him in an interview.
Your claim that your abusive stepfather forced you to kill a man when you were 7 years old, is that the only person you've ever killed?
All of this blank space is real. It's just hanging there.
Well, I would say as a child, yes. I mean, without question. But I've been in other situations where, possibly people or persons died
Was he in the
as a
military?
result of me defending myself.
He was in the military, and that's part of his thing,
Okay.
but still he's not answering how many people he's killed.
Situations where, possibly people or persons died as a result of me defending myself in other countries.
Do you think that you've killed people as an adult?
Does it matter?
Yeah, I'd say
yeah,
so.
fuckhead.
Why?
I killed
Kind of does matter if you've killed people. I just, going by a humanism kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to advocate for the devil here,
Yeah.
He could have answered, and I don't know anything about this fuckstick, but, maybe he's a drone pilot or something like that. He could say, well, in my military career, I was a drone pilot. And I feel like that, in an active armed conflict, I feel like that could kind of level out that question, because you probably don't actually know exactly how many people you kill.
Right. They get into that a little bit more in this, and also the way there was at least 8 to 10 seconds of dead air when they asked him that question at the beginning kind of says everything to me. But it's his caginess and the way he's reacting to all this that.
Does it matter?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Why?
Like, killing somebody's a pretty weighty thing.
If someone's trying to kill you or you're in combat?
It's still a weighty thing to take somebody else's life. I mean, it could be self-defense, it could be justified, but it's still a weighty thing. So I'm just asking you, how many people have you killed?
Well, if I did, I wouldn't be telling.
Do we need to have the if portion of this? Based on your answers, it kind of seems like you did. Just commit to that at this point, I feel.
Well, if I did, I wouldn't be telling a reporter sitting here in my training center.
How about voters? Would you tell voters?
There's no need. I don't think that's important. It's actually kind of It's an odd question to me.
Because you actually talk about the idea of killing people with some frequency, and why it's a necessary thing to do, killing people. You said on NRA TV in 2017, now a lot of them just got to be killed. I've had them shoot at me and I had to shoot back. There's a time and place to eliminate the enemy, and you have to. You said on Jeff Lerner's podcast in 2025, some people have to get killed. Some people have to die. But it's an odd question to ask you how many people you've killed.
Yes.
You claim that you once called in a U.S. military airstrike that killed 70 ISIS fighters. I didn't realize that civilians could essentially facilitate military airstrikes. Could you walk me through how that worked?
No.
And that's the way that clip ended. He's just so, yeah, I've killed people. I'll kill people again. He just puts this across. And yes, he was in the military, but he won't answer the question. And he is one of those MAGA kooks that sees himself probably as like a commandant and governor of the state of Denver.
So he said that he was in the military, but then the guy referred to him as being a civilian.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't get that part necessarily.
And so was he in the military or was he not?
I don't know. That was that clip. That was what it was. We'd have to look into it more.
I mean, I don't care enough about this kook to look into that, but it is interesting.
He's
to
the
say the least.
Republican lead to be governor in the state of Colorado. And it's like, okay, you people can't do that. What the hell?
They really are scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Politically, I think we generally are. We should have much better people, even though I look to people on the right, the correct side, doing the right thing. You have to be careful how you phrase things. People on the left, you have to look to the people of your party to do the right thing and take care of your beliefs and look out for your beliefs. They're still not what we would want. If I had my ultimate dream just based on people that I know of, Bernie Sanders would be leading things right now, and I don't even know what you think of him, but he has those socialist views and ideas of taking care of people and looking out for people before you spend billions of dollars on military, and let's have education and create a better society before we do any of that other stuff. That makes great sense to me.
I don't know if you've watched any of you did, because you and I were back and forth about the documentary of Bernie Sanders where he went out and was talking to a lot of these staunch Republican communities. And during that conversation, they were discovering that actually their beliefs and goals aligned better with Bernie Sanders and the Democrats, and they'd fallen victim to Republican propaganda.
Yep. It was weird once they sat down with him and heard what he had to say and spent some time with the guy that they're like, wow, you're not a devil with horns and you're not looking to ruin us all. And what you are saying really makes a lot of sense. Huh?
Yeah.
It's also
I miss a time where both parties were more aligned on what the goals were, right? And the goals were usually the same, but where they would argue is on how we would achieve it. I feel like we've gone so far past that now. It is outrageous.
Yeah. Well, we've done a lot of political talk today. Didn't mean to. It's just the way things go. But there's a fun story right here, kind of. Taylor Swift wedding. That has been announced. It's going to be happening at Madison Square Garden. And it's by invite, text only. There's no paper trail of anything. They're trying to keep it very secret. So you get the invite by text and you have to reply. And apparently 1,200 people have been invited. And I wonder if she's worked out some kind of trade deal with Madison Square Garden. Oh, I'll do a show for you or something. And I just wonder if then, like at the end of the wedding, she's going to come out and do an encore of Shake It Off. There's that whole thing. But would you ever have like a wedding at Madison Square Garden and handle it that way? If you were a celebrity, people are criticizing this a little bit.
I have zero feelings about it outside of I'm very happy for them and I wish them every success in a long and happy and healthy marriage. People's choices are entirely their own, and I literally don't care.
That's the way I feel. People are criticizing her for making too much of an event and spectacle of it, and my thought is, how could it not be? If she gets married anywhere, it's going to be that, and it's being held there because they can control the privacy.
The security,
apparently.
yeah. It's a smart logistical decision, and she thinks through everything. I'm sure she has thought this through and with her team, and this is the best choice and decision. And I love this for them.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
He's not right for her, but overall, if she's going to marry him, do what you're going to do. And
I think that they're going to have a baby in relatively short order too.
Even want to consider that. That would hurt too much. And I know you're probably expecting that I would be invited. I've been looking for the text, and I did get a text. I'm not invited as a guest. I'm invited as talent. I'm going to be dressed as a cop at the bachelorette party. I heard somebody needs some protein.
Wow.
I'm going to be swinging dong there at the Taylor Swift bachelorette party. That's what I'll be doing.
With a 1990s style boombox slung over your shoulder.
That's it. I'll be the cop with a beat.
For pants.
Cop with a beat. That's what I'll have going on. Hey, look at this. But then I'll have to make the qualification, grower, not a shower. Oh, okay, fine.
Oh, my God.
And then I mentioned encores just briefly as we wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the concept of encores? I feel with encores at concerts, we're bullshitting people, and that we know they're going to do an encore, and they pretend like they're not going to do an encore. And, oh, gee, are they going to come back out? I feel like we should just end it and just you go out and you perform all the songs that you're going to perform, and let's get rid of this stupid ruse that we've created over the years.
I would agree, but I do enjoy an actual encore. Now, it's a 75-25 split for me. 75% of the shows that I go to don't have encores. And then so I'm still delighted when an encore occurs. I really like it when the encore is like a cool cover of another song.
But I maintain that there are no real encores. I believe that every encore is planned ahead of time and they come out and just do it because that's what's expected. I don't believe that anybody really says, oh, the crowd is chanting out there, we need to go back out. I feel like it's all just, oh, we're going to go back out because that's the next thing in the set.
I think you might be right. I never thought about it that way. I think you might be right.
I don't like being lied to.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I want to know when I can go home.
That's
too.
right.
That's the other
Get
thing.
the hell away from me.
You can go home now, but you are at home.
Boom shakalaka. Yeah. Exactly. We should play Christine at the end of every concert. There.
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
Everybody have a great one. Fight the power. You know how it goes.
Exactly. Stay vigilante.
Okay, you know how this goes. Like us, subscribe, tell your friends, write a nice review, engage with us. We're Total Babble on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. Email is show@totalbabble.com. The Total Babble Podcast.